There's a reason no one ever told you this, because it changes the game, not in a flashy, viral, attention-seeking way, but in a deep, uncomfortable, and brutally honest way. This isn't about tricks, pickup lines, or surface-level attraction. It's about seeing what most men ignore, and why most women would rather you never understood it. Because once you do, you stop chasing and start leading. This video will break down what women actually respond to, whether they say it out loud or not. It's rooted in Stoic philosophy: clarity, calm, restraint, purpose, and presence. These aren't ideas, they're weapons, silent ones, and when you carry them properly, you don't just shift how women see you. You shift how you see yourself. Here's your question of the day. What's one truth you learned too late about how women really think? Drop it in the comments, and if you're one of the few men who's watching with focus, include the word valoris in your answer. Let's get into it. Most men try too hard. They think being interesting means being loud, funny, impressive, or constantly entertaining. But women don't fall for performance. They respond to presence. A man who's fully grounded in the moment, not seeking attention, not trying to prove himself, carries a quiet intensity that says everything without needing to say much at all. Presence means you're here. Not distracted, not posturing, not thinking about what to say next. You listen without rushing. You hold eye contact without flinching. You move with calm intention, not nervous energy. That stillness, that control creates an emotional gravity that women feel. And in a world full of men who chase reactions, the one who leads with stillness becomes unforgettable. Picture this: she's talking, maybe even testing to see if you'll jump in, entertain her, or shift the energy, but you don't. You stay present, composed. You respond with few words but full attention. That moment creates tension. Not the bad kind, the magnetic kind, because now she's not watching a show. She's standing in front of someone who doesn't need a script, and that kind of presence, that's what makes her lean in, not your performance. It's easy to stay composed when everything's going right. But when emotions rise, when you're challenged, misunderstood, or pushed, that's when real masculinity is revealed. Boys react. They get defensive, loud, or emotionally dependent. Men stay still. They don't suppress emotion. They control it. And that control is what creates trust, respect, and attraction that lasts longer than any surface-level charm. Stoicism teaches that you can't control what happens, but you can always control your response. A man who lives by this doesn't flinch in chaos. He doesn't beg for understanding. He doesn't escalate tension. He disarms it with presence and clarity. Women instinctively test for this, often without knowing they're doing it. Because a man who can't regulate his emotion can't be trusted with hers. Picture this: she gets emotional, pulls away, or says something meant to trigger you. Most guys either chase or argue. You don't. You take a breath. You listen. You let silence do its job. And when you do speak, it's low, calm, and unshaken. That moment right there tells her everything. This man doesn't break under pressure. He leads through it. And that's what sets you apart, not your words but your reaction. Most men rush to speak. They fill every pause with stories, jokes, or explanations, thinking that more words equal more connection. But what actually makes a man stand out is his ability to sit comfortably in silence. A man who doesn't need to talk to hold attention is far more powerful than one who's always trying to impress, because silence, when used with presence, creates tension. And tension, when held with calm, builds attraction. Stoic men understand that silence isn't weakness, it's control. When you choose not to respond immediately, you're not avoiding. You're leading the pace. You're showing that you don't chase conversation. You own the space around it. Most women are used to men trying to keep things going. But when you give her a pause, when you let your words settle, she leans in. She starts to feel the space instead of just hearing sound. Picture this. You're on a date and there's a moment of quiet. Most guys panic and fill it with noise. You don't. You hold the pause. Maybe you just watch her for a second. Maybe you simply take a breath before responding. That one small decision makes her wonder, why doesn't he feel the need to fill the space? What's he thinking? And just like that, you've made yourself memorable. Not by what you said, but by how you didn't rush to say it. Most men operate from a place of approval seeking. They adjust their tone, filter their truth, and follow her lead, hoping to stay in her good graces. But here's the hard truth. Approval seeking kills respect. Women don't want a man who asks for space in her world. They want a man who owns his world and invites her into it. You don't earn respect by being agreeable. You earn it by setting direction and standing on it. Stoicism teaches that your value isn't dependent on what others give you. It's rooted in what you live by. A man who sets direction doesn't wait for permission. He doesn't try to impress. He moves with intent. When she sees that your time, energy, and decisions come from internal clarity, not external reaction, she feels something different. She may resist it at first, she may challenge it, but she respects it. Imagine she asks where things are going, or she throws out mixed signals to see if you'll bend. Most men panic or over-explain. You don't. You calmly say, "Here's where I'm going. You're welcome to be part of it, but I'm not changing course." That kind of clarity shifts the entire dynamic, because you're no longer trying to be chosen. You're showing that you choose your path first. And that kind of leadership, that's what she'll follow without ever being asked. Every emotionally mature woman, whether she realizes it or not, tests the men she's drawn to. Not out of malice, not to play games, but to see what's real. Because words are easy, presence is harder to fake, and consistency under pressure, that's what reveals who you actually are. A woman will test your boundaries, your emotional control, your purpose, and your patience. Not because she wants you to fail, but because she wants to know if she can trust you. Stoicism prepares you for this by teaching you to expect challenge, not avoid it. The man who welcomes the test, not with defensiveness but with stillness, sends a powerful signal. I don't fear pressure, I lead through it. When she gets distant, emotional, or even disrespectful, most men react, chase harder, over-explain, or withdraw in silence. But you remain steady. You show that your direction isn't shaken by temporary emotion. Picture this: she throws you attitude. Maybe she criticizes you in public. Maybe she pushes your boundary to see how far you'll bend. Most guys collapse. You stay calm. You set a line, direct, respectful, and final. You don't raise your voice. You don't defend. You decide. That moment creates gravity, not because you passed a test, but because you didn't flinch when it came. And in that stillness, she finds what she was really looking for all along: a man she can lean on. Everything we covered: presence over performance, emotional control, the power of silence, setting direction, and embracing her tests, has one goal: to make you move from chasing to leading. Women aren't looking for perfect lines or endless favors. They're looking for a man who remains the same when pressure rises, who speaks with clarity, and who stands still when most collapse. When you live that way, attraction follows you. You don't have to run after it. Remember, the tests never stop, and that's a good thing. They're the proof points that keep her trust alive. Lead yourself first, and the right woman will feel safer and more invigorated standing beside you than anywhere else. Let your actions speak, let your silence carry weight, and let your direction do the filtering. The rest takes care of itself. If this video sparked something real for you, drop the word valorous in the comments. That single word tells us you're not just watching, you're applying. And if you want to keep sharpening this edge, make sure you're subscribed to Valoris. Stay focused, stay calm, and keep leading.